Hello there, thank you for joining me for That's the Way It Is. I'm your host, BC. Man, we're going to talk about the school bus system, and I'm going to tell you what. You're not going to like this. I didn't like it. You know, I don't have any kids on a school bus or anything, but, you know, just knowing that kids in general are riding something that is not safe for them, and their parents and family are sending them to something that is not even safe for them, that is crazy. Well, the state inspector went around, and over half of the school buses that are on the road today that are running is not good for your kids. Matter of fact, in just Wake County, 1 in every 5 buses was not safe for your kids. Now, what he was finding, finding things like fuel leaks, brake system not working, the stop arm not coming out, maybe a missing light here or there. You know, he was just finding odds and ends wrong with the buses. Now, these are pretty. Now, the brakes and the fuel leak and the stop arm, those are probably the most serious things that he probably found wrong with them. That's why, you know, they concentrated on those areas. You know, for several different reasons. The stop arm don't come out. Your kid coming running across the street and the car going around that bus. You know, which we all know that the buses are not the fastest things on the road. Your kid's liable to get hit. You know, I'm sorry to put it that way, but I don't know any other way to put it. Chances are your kid would get hit. Okay, now as far as the brakes, that's just plain common sense. You know, you need brakes to stop. You know, you bus going down the road, it goes down the hill, it goes into the river, or it goes into a tree or a house or another vehicle. I mean, none of these are pretty, people. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. It's not pretty, and this is what they're finding out. Now, a fuel leak, you can just use your imagination with that. You know, enough of us seen enough movies and stuff that know that, you know, a gas leak isn't necessarily the safest thing. And, you know, and I found out throughout the years it's not really the liquid, it's the fumes that is really what ignites. So, and I thought that was pretty interesting. Okay, so in the state, we already established 56% of the school buses were not safe. Okay, now in Halifax, 50%. In Moore County, 40%. In Wake, it was 18%. Now, out of all the counties, the highest county, and you can go to the news station and look, the highest county was Vance Granville, with a whopping 72% of the school buses were not safe. That's almost 100%. That's almost 3/4 of the bus system that is not safe for these people's kids. Okay, now we can blame the school system. We can blame anything we want to blame. You know, and you're right. If you want to blame the school system, you know, you're right. I mean, don't blame the bus driver. They're just doing a job. And, you know, and naturally, most bus drivers are going to say, hey, look, this is what's going on with the bus. You know, any of them that's got any common sense. Okay, but what's going on is, to the best of my knowledge, is that the government has cut funds to these schools. Now, these schools had cut the funds on fixing these buses, saying, well, you know, we'll be all right with that, or we'll be all right with that. That's what's going on. Or the bus driver not wanting to drive a substitute bus. You know, that's a possibility too. Because, you know, if they take that bus and it's something that's really serious, it might take a couple of days, they're going to give them a substitute bus. And a lot of times, it's just an older bus. I mean, a really old bus. You know, something like maybe your parents would have rode on, or your grandparents might, even your grandparents might have, depending on how old you are. You know. So, these are some things to think about, folks, whenever, like I said, whenever you get your kids ready to go to school. Instead of driving them to school like a lot of people, I think a lot of people should. I'm not a real firm believer of the school system. But, you know, for those who has no choice or feel like they don't have a choice, and you send your kids to the school system by means of that bus, take a second thought. You know, because it would appear, you know, no matter how you look at it, and you could word it any way you want to word it, or you could take it however you want to take it, and I do apologize, but it looks like they don't only care for you, but they're not caring for your kids. Because I'm going to tell you what, if it was me and I was over something like that, safety, you know, you used to hear it all the time, safety takes priority. You know, if you have to dig into someone's, you know, paycheck, or not paycheck, but someone's pocket, You know, like the government. You know, the government says, well, you know what? We got to make sure these buses are safe for these kids. You know, kids are our future. So let's take a little. You know, we'll take a little bit of money out of our paycheck and make sure these buses are safe for these kids. Nah, they rather have that money in their pocket. That way they can, you know, live the life that they want to live, the lifestyle. You know, a lot of them probably, you know, we already know that Obama, he visits Hawaii pretty frequently. You know, I would love to spend, you know, Christmas in Hawaii. Who wouldn't? You know, it's nice and pretty. And it's not cold, you know, like it is in some of these areas. You know, so, you know, just give you something to think about whenever you put your kid on that bus. Is that bus safe for your kid? That's going to be the question of the decade. Thank you for joining me.